Welcome to The Savvy Sauce, where we have practical chats for intentional living. I'm your host, Laura Duggar, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's episode includes some thematic material. I want you to be aware before you listen in the presence of little ears. Thank you to an anonymous donor to Midwest Food Bank who paid the sponsorship fee in hopes of spreading awareness. Learn more about this amazing nonprofit organization at midwestfoodbank.org. Laura Jean Bell is my guest today, and she is a Jesus-loving author and also a business and social media coach. So not only is she going to share some of her best savvy social media and business tips, but also the conversation takes a detour into health and wellness, and she has an abundance of wisdom to share there as well, even including practical tips that we can implement today for our own flourishing in health and well-being. Here's our chat. Welcome to The Savvy Sauce, Laura.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'd love for you just to start us off by giving us a snapshot glimpse of your current life right now.
Oh my goodness. My chaotic life. Actually, it's a sweet, beautiful thing, but I am a wife to my high school sweetheart. We have been married. This year will be 11 years. And we have 3 kiddos. Emmy Lou, who is 6. She literally just turned 6. My son Oaks, who is 3, and my youngest is Lottie, and she just turned 9 months. So my life is very full. I own my business. I am a published author, and I have 3 very, very needy children, right? I'm in a season of life where I'm very, very, very needed. And that's a beautiful thing, but it can be a very overwhelming thing at times. So that is a little snapshot about my day in and day out life.
That sums it up well, and gorgeous kid names, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
But I'd love to hear more about your business too. Would you mind just explaining the work that you get to do as a digital marketer and online income mentor?
Sure. Okay. So this has been such a fun journey for me. And just to maybe explain it in like a Reader's Digest version, because I think that there's so much on the internet right now that's like, make $5 million in 4 minutes. But what I do is I actually help business owners. So like the average woman who maybe is wanting to build an income or find her place online, that was where I started. That's where I began, like really helping those women be like, hey, I can be a business owner too. I can actually have like a mark and a place in this space, which I think is often really hard for women to like grasp because we're so inundated with influencer culture. But as the business began to expand and grow, I really started to lean into how do I help business owners actually market their business and make it really profitable online? Because a lot of times there's business owners that have these great businesses, but they don't actually have the marketing piece to actually sell the thing that makes their business a business. And some of them have a brick and mortar, and their brick and mortar does well, but they'd love to increase their income. How do you do that? You get online, you make sales online. And so what I do is I teach female business entrepreneurs how to scale their business using Instagram. I do not focus on any other platforms. My main focus is Instagram, and teaching them how to use their messaging to make sales consistently. And so I help them figure out their messaging and then write it. Actually, I write content for a lot of my clients, and then I teach them consistency and speed so that their life isn't just consumed by the internet, which is like what all of us feel, right? Like once you get on, you're like, how do I do this? And I have to create this, I have to edit this, I have to do that. Like it becomes very overwhelming. And so what I do is I just eliminate the overwhelm. I simplify it, and I help entrepreneurs really find their messaging.
Wow, that's incredible. So you clearly have a gift for communication and articulating different things. Is there
Mhm.
anything, if you want to just give us a little peek into practical tips if somebody's running their own social media, any tips
Yeah.
you'd have for business owners?
I think that the greatest understatement that's happening right now online is followers and views mean absolutely nothing. They are like the beginning of Instagram, the beginning of social media. It was all about like, how many friends do you have? And then it was, how many followers do you have? And, how many views are you getting on your stories? And you get all these interactions on your reels. And like, while that is the mental game of social media, and that is the thing that everybody is going for because it actually fuels this like dopamine hit in your brain. But the reality is that there are people with thousands upon thousands upon thousands of followers that are making $0 on the internet. And what they need is the actual messaging that says, hey, this is how I serve this pain point and give you the life you want. And so the biggest thing is if you have 5 people in one day that view your stories and 3 of them actually buy from you, like that's over 50%. So you're looking at, while everybody is freaking out about the number, it really is about your messaging in order to convert to sales. You can have a bunch of eyes on you, but if you're not serving the people that are following you and serving them towards a sale, it doesn't mean anything. So don't focus on the numbers, focus on your messaging, focus on your brand, focus on what it is that you are serving your people with, and you will make money. You just will. It's how it works. So I hope that answers your question well for you, but yeah.
I love it because it's so unexpected. I would have never known. And I've also heard you encourage people to share their stories rather than just stating facts. And you share your own story, both online and in your book, You Can
Yeah.
Always Come Home. So, Laura, how can we all incorporate stories into our own work so that we can better serve others?
That's such a good question. And I think the biggest thing is, what story do you want people to know? What story is it that like you really think like you've been pricked, right, by the Holy Spirit? Like, this is the story that I need you to tell. This is why you walked through this experience. This is why you're doing this thing. Um, because oftentimes we can negate the things that we've walked through and act as if like those things didn't weren't that big of a deal because you survived it, right? Like, oh, well, it wasn't anything. It was a big deal, right? And so, what are the things that you actually feel are important? They keep showing up. They keep becoming the things that people are asking you about. And how do you tell that story to where somebody hears the messy middle and then the beautiful resolve, the beautiful ending to that story? Because there is, right, the beginning, the middle, and the end. And that's what makes stories so impactful. Facts tell, right? Like, anybody can tell you that, like, a carrot is orange. But like, if somebody tells you the story of how the carrot became orange, or how this, like, what the soil does to all of this and how it adds these nutrients, doesn't that make you like appreciate a carrot more, want to eat a carrot more, want to go buy the carrots more, right? And so the same goes with our story. Like, what is it that actually happened to create this specific result?
Ooh, that's so good. Well, and speaking of stories, are you willing to walk us through a little bit of your own story with your health journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Ask me anything. I'm an open I'm an open book. It might scare some people. I'm an open book about it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, just you're clearly a very healthy woman, but I know you've had a whole past that you've walked. So, has health always been important to you, or at what point of life did you start to make some changes because it wasn't working?
Yeah, it's so interesting when I reflect on something like that. I grew up in a home. I always start with this. Like, my mother was not a dieter. Like, she didn't diet all the time. She wasn't always like on some workout trend or not eating carbs or not doing this. Like, it was never that. My mom is naturally like very, very, very thin. And so like that wasn't a part of the conversation. My mom was always obsessed though with like eating food that's good for you. Like, and in the 90s, like that was really tricky, right? Because there were so many messages about like what's good for you, what's not, bad is bad. Like there's all these things. And while our household, I say, was probably much healthier than the average household in the 1990s and early 2000s, I don't think that I ever like cared about my health. I still ate the Hot Pockets and the Easy Mac and the ramen noodles and every opportunity that my parents actually let us eat out, like I was chowing down. So when I reflect on like my years, like 0 to 18, all I cared about was just consumption. I was like, nobody could stop the amount of food that I could consume. I'm 5'11". I was growing like crazy. You can ask my family, like I could out eat anyone. It was kind of unbelievable. So that part of it in my life, like that was not an unhealthy thing. College is when things began for me. And when I went to college, for most of my life, I was a competitive dancer. So like I was consuming, but I was burning. Like it was like calories in versus calories out. I had no concept of that. I did not know how to read a nutrition label on the back of a box until I was like well into college. Like literally remember learning how to do it in a college health class. So I go to college and I notice that I start gaining weight, right? Like I'm eating all the fast food options that are in our student center and then the cafeteria food. This isn't my mom's home cooked meals anymore. This isn't the mostly healthy options anymore. And I start gaining weight. So when that happened, I started hearing other girls talk about what they were doing. Like, oh, well, you just eat less and exercise more. And like I had no concept of like what did that mean, right? Like, do you just not eat? Like I love to eat, right? And so what I started doing, I didn't know how to like lift weights or do anything. So I started running because I thought, okay, I have endurance. I danced forever. Like you have to have that endurance with that. So like I'll run. So I start running and I completely gave up meat. I was like, well, I can just eat. I thought meat somehow made you fat. I don't know. That was just some weird thing that I had in my head. And I stopped eating meat and I ate less. So like I just kind of narrowed down what I was eating and then ate less of it kind of thing. And that was when my health problems began, was when I began doing that, which is really interesting, right? I was probably eating roughly like 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day, but I was running 4 to 6 miles a day. So like I was not fueling what I was burning, although I was losing weight. So like calories in versus calories out, like the concept of like just eat less and exercise more, it was working. I was 19, like I was young. I had like everything was working right, but all of a sudden my body was like, you're depriving me. And I'm not only being deprived of actual calories, I'm being deprived of nutrients. And what began to happen is it started to show up in my hormones with my cycle. Started breaking out in hormonal acne on my chin. I started having very short cycles. So like for any woman listening that maybe doesn't have a concept of this language, because oddly enough, so many women don't, and it's like about us. But like a woman has a cycle. Your period isn't your cycle. It's the full month that's your cycle. And I was, instead of 28 days, I was having 18-day cycles. And the pain during my period was excruciating. It was so painful and I'd never experienced that before. So those were the things that began to show up, but I just kept going with what I was doing and just thought, I just have bad periods. I had family members that had bad periods. This just must be genetic and I just have to live with it and pop ibuprofen every 18 days, right? So that was kind of where it started.
Let's take a quick break to hear a message from our sponsor. Midwest Food Bank exists to provide industry-leading food relief to those in need while feeding them spiritually. They are a food charity with a desire to demonstrate God's love by providing help to those in need. Unlike other parts of the world where there's not enough food, in America, the resources actually do exist. That's why food pantries and food banks like Midwest Food Bank are so important. The goods that they deliver to their agency partners help to supplement the food supply for families and individuals across our country, aiding those whose resources are beyond stretched. Midwest Food Bank also supports people globally through their locations in Haiti and East Africa, which are some of the areas hardest hit by hunger arising from poverty. This ministry reaches millions of people every year, and thanks to the Lord's provision, 99% of every donation goes directly toward providing food to people in need. The remaining 1% of income is used for fundraising, costs of leadership, oversight, and other administrative expenses. Donations, volunteers, and prayers are always appreciated for Midwest Food Bank. To learn more, visit midwestfoodbank.org or listen to episode 83 of The Savvy Sauce, where the founder, David Keyser, shares miracles of God that he's witnessed through this nonprofit organization. I hope you check them out today. Was that the point that led to what you call your year of rebellion, or did that come later?
No way. That was just the start of basically roughly 8 years of undiagnosed endometriosis. So what started happening is in college, I would have these, what I called episodes, where I would be roughly like a day or two before my period would start, and I would have this unbelievable pain that would come over me. And I could feel it literally, my lower abdomen, so much pressure, so much discomfort. Oftentimes it would involve vomiting, passing out, like so painful. To this day, I've had an unmedicated birth, and I am here to tell you that the pain of pushing out an almost 10-pound baby and that were roughly the same thing. It was unbelievable, excruciating pain. I would go to the doctor. They would not give me ultrasounds. They would not check anything. They would not even do my blood work. They did nothing. They would just say, you have really painful periods and we'll give you birth control. That was every year from 2010 until 2017. This was what was given to me. And so in 2017, I eventually went to, I was on my way to work, and I had one of those episodes, and I called the doctor. They bring me in, and I said, I want an ultrasound. Like, I will sit here all day. I need an ultrasound. And so they did an ultrasound and found 2 cysts on one ovary, one on the other, and they were 6 and 7 centimeters and 6 centimeters. I mean, it was crazy, these large cysts. And they were like, you more than likely have endometriosis. This is, they started explaining all the things. And fast forward, I ended up having 2 laparoscopies, which is the surgery to remove endometriosis, in 10 months. The average woman can go 18 months between surgeries, and I had mine in 10 months. That's how reoccurring rapidly it was growing and spreading in my body. And I felt zero relief from these surgeries, which everyone promised, like, you'll feel amazing. You'll get pregnant. I couldn't get pregnant. I was in so much pain, go through another cycle of it. And it's like, these doctors are like, yeah, you're probably just not going to be able to have children. We recommend you getting on birth control or getting a hysterectomy. Like, these are your options. And so what I did is I went to see a fertility specialist, like anybody would do. Like, I'm not going to just stick with my OB. I'm going to see if I can actually have kids. And so I see a fertility specialist. I go through multiple rounds of fertility treatments, and I wind up getting pregnant with my first daughter, Emmylou. So she is a product of follicle stimulation and an IUI, and lots of trigger shots and lots of synthetic progesterone. I did all of it. And after my daughter was born, a year postpartum, I got pregnant again, and I miscarried that baby. That baby was miscarried March of 2020, which is when everybody went crazy, right? 2020, like, who has their 2020 story, right? And so my daughter was little. I mean, she was like 14 months old when I had this miscarriage. And I remember watching, I watched this video. It was called The Plandemic, and a lot of people like didn't actually see it because it was taken off the internet for misinformation. And it was a woman that was explaining what was really happening with the pandemic which is funny because all of it's true now, but she was taken down like she's crazy. This is a horrible pandemic. Nothing was created in a lab, all of that. And I was like, I went to watch it again because I thought this woman must be crazy. Like, there's no way that this would actually happen. And I went to watch it again and it was taken off the internet for misinformation. And this thought came over me, which is so bizarre now. Like, I know more about Kim and Kanye's divorce than I know about what's happening with this pandemic. Yet, Kim and Kanye's divorce information is there for me to see, and they're not letting me look at this. Why? And it was this very strange thing that came over me. But everything that came out that was like, don't take this medicine to help COVID. Don't do this. Actually, like saturated fats are bad for you. Like all of these different things that were popping up and people were saying it's misinformation. I was like, I'm going to research that. I'm going to research that. I'm going to research that. The fertility doctor that did my DNC after I had a miscarriage actually said to me, you will never again have another pregnancy, but if you do, you will not have a normal child. That is what they discovered and decided about me according to the results from that DNC. What happened to that baby, why that baby wasn't developing, why I lost that baby. It literally like, and him saying that to me, I was like, why? And it was almost like he couldn't explain to me the reasons why, but that I just never would. And this is what I needed to do next in order to stay healthy and keep endometriosis away. And so I went on this journey for 1 year and I committed to 1 year where I was like, everything that is misinformation, I'm going to research it. Everything that I have been told is good for me or is the best choice for me because of my condition, I'm going to actually look at what they're giving to me and like why. Every time somebody told me like endometriosis is incurable, okay, but like what is endometriosis? Nobody actually explained to me what it was. They just told me I had it and that it caused what it caused, not actually what caused it. And so when I went on this journey, I began to discover and unfold so many things that absolutely blew my mind, broke my heart, made me very angry because as I began to implement the things that I discovered, I healed and I got better. And all of a sudden, I don't have endometriosis anymore. All of a sudden, I'm pregnant with a very healthy baby. All of a sudden, like everything is better. How is it that the things that the providers that were working with me, what they were doing for me was keeping me sick? And as I branched out and did all the things that they said was absolutely crazy. I had one of them literally looking at me and he was holding topical progesterone and he was like, this stuff, like with all due respect to this functional doctor that talked to you, this stuff doesn't work. And unfortunately, they sell things to people like you, young women who are desperate for answers. They sell this stuff to you to make so much money, and it's not going to do anything for you. Guess what? Topical progesterone changed my life. So, anyways, that is kind of a little bit of like my year of rebellion and what happened. I'm happy to go into details for you, but I feel like I'm getting long-winded with it. So,
No, that's incredible. I do want to do a deep dive into it because
yeah.
I think it's such a blessing after you've spent over a year researching this and then living this for multiple years. I think it can be such a benefit to each of us. And I'm recalling this story specifically about toxins where people were saying that means nothing. But in that fertility clinic, somebody told you, or there was a sign that said their employees were not allowed to wear certain toxins because, quote, it could inhibit the fertility process.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. You know what's really funny is I went to the health department to get some paperwork and stuff for my kids the other day, and there was a sign up that was like, any and all women that are getting mammograms, if you're getting a mammogram, do not wear perfume or deodorant for a mammogram because of the radiation mixed with the toxins. I asked the woman that was sitting there, I was like, why did they say that? And she explained it to me. And I was like, oh, okay. So why aren't you telling us to stop wearing it altogether? But when I went to the fertility clinic, I was going through fertility. I was like an avid Daisy by Marc Jacobs perfume wearer. I don't know. I still love the way that that smells. It's the yummiest. But I would wear it all the time. And I went in, and the woman that was there, she was like, you smell so good. And I was like, it's Daisy by Marc Jacobs. She was like, I wish I could wear perfume to work. I'm not allowed to. And I was like, why not? And she was like, oh, because like the people that are working on women who are going through fertility, getting their IUIs. So it's like when they're actually inseminating you, like it could inhibit the fertility process. She was like, have you ever noticed we don't have any candles? Like, we're not allowed to burn candles here, all of that. And I was like, why aren't you telling me to stop doing that? Is that not interesting to anyone? Like, why is no one paying attention to the fact that like I'm walking in here with perfume on to get an IUI that's going to fail because it inhibits the fertility process. Like the one that worked, guess what? I wasn't wearing any perfume. So it's like, it's one of those things that like, when I heard that, I thought, well, what is it that messes with the fertility process? Like what is that? And this was honestly, when I heard this information, this was before my year of rebellion. So like, I remember her telling me that, and I kind of stopped wearing it to the sessions because I thought, well, I don't want to get this messed up anyways. So yeah, pretty wild.
That's incredible. And okay, so from that year of rebellion, what other tweaks that did you make, small and large?
Oh man. Some big things, like I removed toxins from my home. So that looked like removing Clorox wipes and detergents that are just like your average detergents that you buy from the store. I stopped burning candles and started not burning, but diffusing essential oils. From there, what I really started focusing on was my protein intake. I spent so many years vegan, vegetarian, refusing meat, refusing proteins. And those were the years that things were really bad for me. When I started to reincorporate animal proteins and quality animal fats, my cycles went from 18 days to 29 days. I started having painless periods. My hair started growing more. My nails wouldn't break. Even my vision got better. And so what was really interesting is I started learning that if you are protein deficient, you will be progesterone deficient. And progesterone is the pregnancy hormone. This is the hormone you have to have in order to conceive. I always tell it like this: progesterone equals progestation. So if you don't have enough progesterone, your baby cannot survive. The first 12 weeks is what the baby lives on before the placenta is formed. You have to have progesterone in order to balance out the estrogen progesterone balance. If it's imbalanced, that's where you have pain, mood swings, acne, discomfort, the growth of endometriosis and PCOS. These things are really important. Progesterone is so important for your mental health. If you are mentally low, like think about your progesterone levels. Think about how much you're sleeping. If you're sleeping in complete darkness, that raises your progesterone levels. If you eat at least 80 grams of protein a day, it raises your progesterone levels. These are two really basic things. Like, it's really simple. It's not complicated. So that was probably the biggest thing for me, was learning how to eat. Because for years we're told, at least all of my life, like fat is bad. They would rather you eat hydrogenated oils, and I can't believe it's not butter, than actually eat grass-fed butter. Why? Like, why is it bad for you? And when you really uncover the work that was done in the studies that were given for explaining that fat is bad, it was all paid for. It was all paid for by the medical industry, by big pharma, in order to push this agenda. And they said that it was bad for our hearts. But get this, in the years after they told everyone that it was horrible for heart health, heart disease skyrocketed as people began to eat less animal protein and less animal fats. So anyways, just to give like some of the things that I discovered and changed, that's the main thing, which really and truly is like not that complicated. you
Wow.
know?
Yes. Focusing on what you're intaking. What about cortisol? What did you learn about that?
So cortisol is like your get up and get crap done hormone. Okay. And when you are living in a state of fight or flight, where basically you get up in the morning, I'm going to give you an example of what a lot of women do, and they end up having issues with cortisol and eventually stop producing it altogether. So a woman gets up in the morning, she wakes up, she drinks a cup of coffee with no food on her stomach, and she goes and does a 30-minute cardio workout. And then she comes in and she eats maybe like a protein bar, like a little like some type of granola bar, another cup of coffee. She goes to work. She works all day, or she's home with her kids all day. And by the time she's got her work done, or she's taking care of her children and fed her children, doing all of these things, you're going all day long. All of a sudden, it's 3 o'clock and you haven't eaten anything, and you're in a bad mood and you're really tired. And so maybe you go get a snack and another cup of coffee. And then by the time you get to dinner, it's the only meal that you've really sat down and had for the day. Okay. So what has that done to you? Your body believes, because your body and your brain don't know the difference between a bear chasing you or you running strictly on caffeine and doing too much cardio. And so all of a sudden, she is moody, she's exhausted, she's running on all this tension, her hair starts to fall out, she gets acne, her skin's doing some weird stuff, her nails are kind of brittle. All this, you're always moody, you're always in a bad mood. It's because your cortisol is doing this. It's like, and it's like it's like high. And sometimes when you keep doing this, you actually can get a lot of energy. And then all of a sudden, your adrenals, because your adrenals are what produce cortisol, your adrenals are like, actually, we're done. Like, stop running from the bear, just die. Like, literally, it like can't do anything for you anymore. And you go into what a lot of people call, or doctors call, adrenal failure, which is where your body doesn't even produce cortisol anymore. And so that is when you can't get out of bed in the morning. You're so exhausted. You can't lose weight. No matter what you do, you're winded, you're overwhelmed, but you don't have energy for anything. You have so much brain fog, so much bloat and inflammation. It's because your body's not producing cortisol. So you don't have the energy to get anything done. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, this is so interesting
Okay.
because I feel like there's a whole health movement right now. So there's a lot of buzz about all of this, and people, I think,
Yeah.
especially after 2020, are waking up. So love gathering perspectives. As you're talking about inflammation, then too, with cortisol, have you researched much about grounding, like actually barefoot on the earth?
Yes, girl. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Um, so something that was really interesting, I went to see a specialist when I was really healing really my adrenals, because a fun fact for you, like when your adrenals are just in overload, and just a fun fact, if you are experiencing high cortisol, you're constantly up here, guess what your body's going to throw out the window? Fertility. Because what in the world is safe about a body that is running from a bear? Like, no, your body is preserving you because it's not safe for you to host a life. So I was seeing a doctor who was really helping me. It's called muscle testing. So they test each organ according to like how your muscles respond. And I was in adrenal failure. And at this point, I'd already had my second child and was experiencing a lot of inflammation. I couldn't lose weight. I was like so tired. I was irritable. And I did this long session with him, and I was in St. Pete, Florida, doing this session. And he said, "You have an assignment for the rest of the day." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "You need to go to the beach, like go somewhere and actually lay your entire body down on the sand." He was like, "I know, like nobody wants to get sandy, but like lay on the sand." And I was like, "Tell me why." And he was like, "If you lay on the sand, it's your body touching the earth. And God gave you the earth as a battery pack. And this battery pack literally is going to shoot energy back into your body that your body has been deprived of." And like, he started going into all the studies for it. But he was like, don't you ever know the difference, like, and how you feel when you've been cooped up at work all day and then like you go on a vacation to the beach and you sit on the beach and you put your feet in moving water? He was like, it's literal living water. Living water moves and it heals and rejuvenates. What happens to water that's stagnant?
Yeah, it gets disgusting.
Yeah, it turns to mold, right? It actually goes toxic. But that moving water is healing, it's living, it's rejuvenating, it's very biblical, right? And then you have the earth that God gave you is this battery pack. There are people, this is going to sound crazy, but there are people who have done LSD, like psychedelic drugs, that talk about the vibrations of the earth. When they're on this drug, they are seeing the way, and they talk about it's a magnetic field. They like, you can read, you can watch videos, you can see studies of people who did LSD who literally can see the energy that the ground gives you. I mean, it's crazy, but isn't it like the Lord, right? To give us what we need in nature, like magic.
Yes, where we're going back to the way that he designed, whether that's eating whole foods or getting outside in his beautiful nature. There's countless benefits. But I think it's just amazing that taking your shoes off and being on the earth, even for 30 seconds, is beneficial. When was the first time you listened to an episode of The Savvy Sauce? How did you hear about our podcast? Did a friend share it with you? Will you be willing to be that friend now and text 5 other friends or post on your socials anything about the Savvy Sauce that you love? If you share your favorite episodes, that is how we continue to expand our reach and get the good news of Jesus Christ in more ears across the world. So we need your help. Another way to help us grow is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Each of these suggestions will cost you less than a minute, but it will be a great benefit to us. Thank you so much for being willing to be generous with your time and share. We appreciate you. You had also talked about previously with your health journey being deficient in minerals, I think you said as well, or just not getting the nutrients. So are there any minerals that we all are likely lacking, or any that you would recommend from your research and experience?
Yeah, I mean, every mineral. The most underrated mineral right now is potassium. Like, the amount of women who are potassium deficient and like need more potassium is unreal. But magnesium is huge. You have to have magnesium to even for your body to even naturally produce vitamin D. Like, vitamin D is a hormone, but you have to have magnesium for your body to produce vitamin D. How many have gone to the doctor and they're like, you are very low in vitamin D, right? Well, get in the sunshine more, take the supplement, but like, where's your magnesium, right? And so potassium's huge, especially for your mental health. This is really going to help you in like balancing out like your like removing the brain fog, really. Sodium, which everyone's like, eat less sodium. You need less sodium chloride. You need less table salt. You don't need less salt. Your body has salt. Your body needs salt. Think about what your t-shirt looks like when you're drenched in sweat. It dries, and what does it have? Salt. It's salty, right? When you're sweaty, it's salty. And it's because your body actually needs sodium. It has to have it. And so stop using white table salt, like iodized salt. Go get some quality Celtic salt, like really simple, but put that in your water. Like, first thing in the morning, drink some water with some Celtic salt. Like, get those electrolytes back in your system. So potassium, magnesium, sodium, and calcium. Like, your body needs calcium, and you can get calcium in multiple ways, but calcium is going to support your bones. It's going to help support your muscles, because if you are working those muscles, your body needs the strength. And so calcium is going to give you that balance as well. It's fantastic. So All of them, but like I think the biggest is like make sure you're getting magnesium. Just like if you just need to start somewhere, just get a magnesium supplement. I recommend magnesium glycinate because it's kind of the overall magnesium. So it's great.
Okay, and you said you can get calcium multiple places. Do you take that as a supplement or where do you get your calcium?
So I actually do adrenal cocktails. So that is coconut water, orange juice, and Celtic salt. That's it. And just do a little adrenal cocktail in the morning and in the afternoon. Make sure that you have had protein before you drink it, because if you're anything like me, it'll spike your blood sugar if you're not balanced. So you need to be balanced. I've always been very sensitive to things like orange juice, apple juice. Like as a kid, I would feel really bad in the mornings. And I just thought breakfast made my stomach hurt. And actually, it was like my blood sugar was dysregulated from the cup of orange juice and the cinnamon toast that my mom gave me, right? So like it's like butter, sugar, white flour, orange juice. Like eat this for a nutrient dense breakfast. And I like would feel horrible after because my blood sugar was off. So make sure you got some protein on your stomach and drink an adrenal cocktail. Like my parents swear by it. My dad's like, this has changed my life. Your mom's gonna make me one of those little cocktail things that I tell her about all the time. It's hilarious. And I'm like, it's just juice and coconut water, but it's got the minerals. That's why it makes you feel so good. It's because it's giving your body the nutrients that it needs.
That's incredible. Are there any other biohacks, health hacks, even the role of light that it plays or movement or anything else that you want to recommend with your extensive research?
I'll give two things. Number one, if you can get up as the sun is rising or a little bit before and actually go outside and stare at the red light, the actual like the morning sunrise, and then watch the sunset. If you can get your eyeballs on just like the surroundings where that red light is hitting, that will do wonders for the production of melatonin in your gut. It's going to help you sleep. It's going to help you sleep really good at night, which is going to help you with your progesterone levels. So that is great. Number one. Number two, weightlifting. If you can incorporate at least 2 days a week of heavy weightlifting into your routine, it's going to do wonders. And the reason I say that is that estrogen, toxic estrogen, not the estrogen that's good for you that you need to like make you female, but like the toxic estrogens you're getting from perfumes and food and plastics and all the things, it stores itself in fat, in visceral fat. And so the best way to burn fat and build muscle is by lifting weights. And so if you want to keep toxic estrogens out of your body, step number one, get rid of fat. Like fight hard for like, I mean, I'm still postpartum. I'm still burning off like weight that I gained in pregnancy. But the number one thing that motivates me is not like I want to look better, which of course I want to look better. Of course I want to fit back into my clothes, like all of that. But like, Laura, toxic estrogens store themselves in this fat. And so when you are lifting weights, you are burning fat and building muscle to support your family and not be burdened by the imbalance of your hormones. Like right there, that is the reason why. So lift weights. It's so good for you. It protects you from so many other diseases, but like that alone, women do not understand the power of that. It's going to do wonders for you.
Okay, this is so helpful. And then I'm thinking it's beneficial to have a specific plan. So, as we think about where you talked about laundry detergents or limiting toxins, will you share a few of your personal favorite products? And then also, what are some recommended things we can actually eat? Like when you walk through a healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, what would you share?
Okay, so some favorite products. I started out using Thieves Household Concentrate. It's Young Living sells it, and it's like $26 for a bottle of the concentrate. That concentrate can be household cleaner, so like it can clean any surface in your home. It can be used as dishwasher detergent. So we use Thieves instead of like pods in our in our dishwasher. And I'm here to tell you, I think Young Living just came out with dishwasher pods, like Thieves dishwasher pods. We don't use it. We still use the concentrate. But we use that. You can use it in your laundry. So you can wash your clothes in it. And so we alternate with that. Sometimes we use that. Sometimes we use Molly's Suds. Those are like little pods. You can get them on Amazon. It's a non-toxic option. You can also wash your clothes in like baking soda and vinegar. Like just be old school. Your clothes won't smell like vinegar. Don't worry. Like the vinegar gets rid of the odor. That's like how our grandparents did it. So those are some like really simple hacks. Just because that's inexpensive. Like you can make 16, I think it's 16 bottles of household concentrate, like spray with the one bottle. So like you buy the one bottle, it takes a cap full, and then you fill the rest of the way up with water, and it cleans anything. It's fantastic. It smells great. You'll love it. What else did you ask me? Food?
Yes, food, like a sample menu.
Okay. Something that I love to eat. I love to just really enjoy my food. Like if you're on the go, like I'll give it an example. If you're on the go, I recommend like boil some eggs. Okay. Take like 3 boiled eggs, get like a chomp stick to get your protein, and like an RX bar. RX bars are going to have the carbs, but it's also going to have more protein. You'll get 6 grams of protein per egg, and then about 10 grams in your chomp stick. So it's like 18 grams with the eggs plus 10 is 28 grams plus the RX bar. You're going to get over 30 grams of protein, and then you'll have some carbs. I do recommend getting a little bit more carbs, but if you're on the go and you're in a hurry and you need to feel balanced, that's a good start. If you're home, like I love doing scrambled eggs and air frying sweet potatoes, peppers, and onions. It is delicious. Just trust me. And season it with garlic powder and salt. It's so simple. Some avocado oil. And literally just allow, like, think about all the carbs, all the protein, everything. The best hack, though, that I learned with eggs is do 2 regular, like the full egg, and then do 2 egg whites, and then add cottage cheese to your eggs, blend it in a blender, and then cook them, and just thank me later. So you're getting extra protein, um, extra protein. It's creamier. It's so good. And then eat that with sweet potatoes and peppers, and it's primo.
Okay, this sounds amazing. I love it. And this is my post-recording meal, the RX bar. I love it
Hallelujah.
on the
Yes.
go, busy days.
Yes. Yes. For lunch, I mean, lunch, I honestly, I keep like ground beef patties just ready. Like, and my air fryer stays, like, I literally use it for every meal. Sometimes if I don't have it ready, I just pat it out, put it in the air fryer, it cooks. Do that with a bunch of veggies. Get lots of fruit, mainly berries, like berries, apples, and just adding that in as your carb. You can do, if you need a snack, I highly recommend doing Greek yogurt and mixing in your favorite protein powder and mixing that up. It's so good. The Greek yogurt gives you the carbs, the fats, and protein, and then you add the extra protein in it. And so it's excellent. For dinner, our favorite meal, we eat a lot of grass-fed beef because we buy cow every year. So, but we'll do bowls, and we'll do like a bed of rice, sweet potatoes, peppers and onions, and then ground beef. And then we drizzle the Japanese barbecue sauce over it. And we call it Japanese barbecue bowls. It's literally just like a bunch of vegetables and meat with sauce, but it's really good. It's really good. So there's some meal ideas for you.
That's incredible. Thank you for just rattling those off. We've got a plan now. And I love how this conversation took a turn toward health. So before we leave that section, any other healthy rhythms or best practices or ways you've simplified your life that you would recommend?
Just sleep. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like people aren't sleeping, and go to bed without your phone. You're going to be okay. You really are. If your kids can go to bed without their phones, like without a phone in their face, like you can do it too. It's not the best way to turn your brain off. So like go to bed. When you lay in a dark room without any blue light, you actually are helping your nervous system reset itself. and it needs a moment to rest and digest. So get in the bed without the blue light and close your eyes and go to sleep. Like you can do it, but it's so simple, and try to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. Truly. It's so important.
It's so good. And you're all about simplifying. You even help people simplify their digital marketing. So as we kind of turn it back to business, I know you can't give away all of your secrets, but will you share just a few more business or social media tips with all of us?
Oh man. I think the number one thing that I would tell anyone who's like wanting to do anything in the online space is don't spread yourself across every platform. Like it's not worth your time. The more you hone in on one thing, the more of that thing you will sell. Like plain and simple. And you will make way more money. You will spend way less time working on it. You will enhance the lives of the people that choose to work with you. That's what you'll gain. That is what you will gain. If you simplify your offers, number one, like have sell less, just sell more of one thing, and stop spreading yourself thin across all the platforms. It's just too much work.
Oh, that's wise counsel. And
Mhm.
will you also tell us? I mean, I'm amazed as I'm thinking of all this research that you've done. You're living a healthy lifestyle, you're raising young children, consulting with others as their coach. Also, you wrote a book. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I wrote my book. I actually have it right next to me because I was like, if somebody's going to ask me what this book is about, like it's a book of short stories. And it sounds really simple, but it's a book of short stories that really draws you back to who you are in the Lord and understanding your place, like your identity in Christ, your belonging, fighting against fear, and like really coming home to God, to who God created you to be. And so this book is a compilation of short stories of my own life where these things were very disrupted. My identity, like a total identity crisis, like not just having so much fear, learning how to come back to who God made me to be, but really writing out the moments of when I was living in that season and the people that helped me kind of find my way out and the things that God really showed me in that journey. And so have it right here. You can always come home, following the breadcrumbs of your past to find hope for your tomorrow. It's really what my heart was, is I learned a lot when I left my hometown and I moved to small town North Alabama. And although this is where my dad is from, this was not where I was raised. And I walked into a total identity crisis when I moved here. And I write a lot about that and about the moments when I was living in that season and how the Lord would reveal to me, like, remember when this happened? Remember when this happened and how you handled it, or what that person said to you. And I write those stories in here. And so the goal of this book is for anybody who reads it to know that God's on your side and everything's going to be okay.
Thank you for sharing that, Laura. And we'll certainly add a link for that in the show notes for today's episode. But also, what links can we give for your social media? And then, if somebody wants to reach out and work with you, what would that process look like?
Yeah. So my Instagram is Laura_Jean_Bell, and Jean is Jean. Um, and if you want to work with me or reach out, you can email me at laurabellwrites@gmail.com, or you can literally go to my Instagram account and click the link in my bio where I explain what I do. And it offers an ability to hop on a call with me where we can talk together and see if we would be a good fit to work together. So those are the ways that you can contact me. I have a website. It's or larabell.co. And you can contact me through that as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for adding that. We will make sure it's accessible for everyone. And Laura, you may be familiar with why we're called the Savvy Sauce, which is because savvy is synonymous with practical knowledge. And so, my final question for you today, Laura, what is your savvy sauce?
For life in general,
You got it.
Okay, well, I have 2 of them, and so one of them's kinda silly and one of them's not, so I'm gonna go with the non-silly one.
Oh, share both.
Um, yes, but I will say, like, there was this line that I heard, and I don't know who, like, trademarked this line, but it was very simple. It said, "You are the CEO of your life." And it was very simple, but it changed everything for me because for so much of my life, like, if your knee-jerk reaction to things not going your way is to blame someone else, you're not living as the CEO of your life. And I have spent a lot of my life, like, when something doesn't go my way, I look for a person to blame instead of looking at myself and my own flaws and being able to see that, hey, sometimes Laura, you're to blame. And like, it's okay. You're the CEO of your life. And you get to see what you did wrong, see how you messed up, see how you needed to shift something, and then move on. And I think so many of us, whether we want to believe it or not, we can fall victim to that and live our lives so attached to this idea that somebody else is always to blame. Somebody else did this to me. Sometimes things do happen to you that are not your fault. Sometimes you are a victim to horrible crimes and horrible things happening to you. But the question is, what are you going to do about it? Who are you going to talk to about it? Are you going to go to the Lord and ask him what it's actually supposed to look like for your life moving on from this place? Or are you going to stay in a mindset that's small and traumatized, small and victimed, or are you going to say, I'm the CEO of my life and I'm going to link arms with the Holy Spirit and keep moving forward? And so that was a huge thing for me to like learn. And I feel like it's kind of been my savvy sauce in the last probably year, because 2024 was a year of a lot of things happening to me that weren't my fault. And finally, one day I thought, Laura, you can sulk in this, but it's not going to change your circumstance. What's going to change your circumstance is you saying, I'm in charge of my life and I'm going to pick up the pieces of this and I'm going to ask God what to do with it. And so anyways, you're the CEO of your life and it's time to take charge of that. So yeah.
I love it. And now you've got to share your silly one as well. You've left us curious.
What is the savvy sauce? Let me just tell all of my geriatric millennials out there, you need to put castor oil on your face. Okay. Just know that like castor oil, you need to look like a glazed donut when you go to bed and your skin will thank you. Just trust me.
That's incredible. I was so grateful you shared. And Laura, I can see why clients are so drawn to work with you. It is so delightful to have conversation with you. You are gifted in so many different arenas. And I think what really stands out is your generosity and just your willingness to share all of this with us. So thank you so much for being my delightful guest today.
Oh, it was such a gift talking to you. Thank you for having me.
One more thing before you go. Have you heard the term gospel before? It simply means good news, and I want to share the best news with you. But it starts with the bad news. Every single one of us were born sinners, but Christ desires to rescue us from our sin, which is something we cannot do for ourselves. This means there is absolutely no chance we can make it to heaven on our own. So for you and for me, it means we deserve death and we can never pay back the sacrifice we owe to be saved. We need a Savior. But God loved us so much, He made a way for His only Son to willingly die in our place as the perfect substitute. This gives us hope of life forever in right relationship with Him. That is good news. Jesus lived the perfect life we could never live and died in our place for our sin. This was God's plan to make a way to reconcile with us so that God can look at us and see Jesus. We can be covered and justified through the work Jesus finished if we choose to receive what He has done for us. Romans 10:9 says that if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead, you will be saved. So would you pray with me now? Heavenly Father, thank you for sending Jesus to take our place. I pray someone today, right now, is touched and chooses to turn their life over to you. Will you clearly guide them and help them take their next step in faith to declare you as Lord of their life? We trust you to work and change lives now for eternity. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If you prayed that prayer, you are declaring Him for me, so me for Him. You get the opportunity to live your life for Him. And at this podcast, we're called The Savvy Sauce for a reason. We want to give you practical tools to implement the knowledge you have learned. So you ready to get started? First, tell someone. Say it out loud. Get a Bible. The first day I made this decision, my parents took me to Barnes & Noble and let me choose my own Bible. I selected the Quest NIV Bible and I love it. You can start by reading the book of John. Also, get connected locally, which just means tell someone who's a part of a church in your community that you made a decision to follow Christ. I'm assuming they will be thrilled to talk with you about further steps, such as going to church and getting connected to other believers to encourage you. We want to celebrate with you too, so feel free to leave a comment for us here if you did make a decision to follow Christ. We also have show notes included where you can read scripture that describes this process. And finally, be encouraged. Luke 15:10 says, "In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents." The heavens are praising with you for your decision today. And if you've already received this good news, I pray you have someone to share it with. You are loved, and I look forward to meeting you here next time.